Hi, Doc. Um, Let me create a quick demonstration with some words about this feature for you, so you can hopefully you can demo the feature where it's necessary. So first of all, currently the feature is in process, and it requires this specific feature build, and it also uses this part of the feature from the customization package. I have deployed everything and set up the necessary configuration on this site, which I've shared with you by the URL. So you have it in your email. First of all, let's review the configuration. There is a new form, corporate credit cards, which actually allows the user who is responsible for corporate cards to define a dictionary, a list of corporate cards which are in use, and assign those cards to employees. Notice that this feature, the process which I'm going to show you, is targeted at construction companies mostly, which utilize the process that employee is not trusted, and the employee only enters expenses, and then further reconciliation by the bank statement is performed by the responsible person, by accountant or financial controller. There could be another type of process for professional services companies, for consultants, for more trusted employees who potentially can reconcile the bank statement on their own. But this second type of the process is not in the scope of this feature. So in the first version of the feature, we are going to support only the process which is absolutely necessary for construction companies. The second part of the feature is a whole different story. It also needs employee access, employee profile, employee access to card management, to the ability to match transactions with the bank statement, and it's a whole separate scope of work. In this feature, what we can do is we can create a list of credit cards and designate which employee has which card. Then to enter an expense, as usual, employee uses expense receipts form. This process will also be supported on the mobile. So let's say I paid $100 from my corporate card for a hotel. And you can see that the card gets assigned to this expense receipt by default. This is a new field, paid with. And the logic is, if an employee has an active corporate card, it will be used as a default payment method on the receipt here. All the previous receipts will automatically get cash value in it, and it is still possible to select cash, paid with cash, and process an expense receipt as it was available before. So I want to capture this expense receipt I paid from a corporate card, and let me save it and claim it. At this moment, I have released an expense claim which captures this hotel expense. At this moment of time, if you use this navigation link, it will open a weird screen. This is a known issue we we are working on. I would recommend, for demonstration purposes, I would recommend to go to quick checks, because in the situation with corporate card expenses, we will be creating quick checks transactions. And if we look at the most recent one, we will see this $100, and we will see the GL transaction, which actually happens between the expense, travel expense, and the liability to the bank, the card issuer. Okay, so this is a situation when we enter an expense receipt that the company recognizes as the company expense. There could be another situation, though rare, that the employee has no other cards. In an unlikely situation that an employee has no other cards, has no cash in the pocket, and needs to use that corporate card as an emergency, this is still supported. Emergency coffee. This process is still supported, and in this situation, I can select that I paid my personal expense. Sorry guys, I will need to reimburse that expense to the company. It cannot be a company expense. And in this case, again, we can process and add this expense receipt to a claim, and along with the other expense receipts, it can also be a combined situation with combined receipts. So in this case, if I release such line, the documents, financial documents are created by line. We can see the system creates a debit adjustment to capture employee's liability to the company. So we see that our corporate card, the transaction in the corporate card has been recorded, and also we capture liability of the employee to us in this situation. Speaking about the main difference between cash expense receipt and corporate card receipt is the need to reconcile expense receipts processed by card with bank statement. And we also support this process. I have created a bank statement entered for my corporate card account. So I have uploaded this bank statement, and we have new card number field here for the ability to match transactions considering the card number, which is by standard can be the last 4 digits of the card number, but it's a text field and can be entered in free form. So I have some bank transactions uploaded from this statement, and I can go to our regular form, which allows users to match transactions. I select cash account here, which represents my credit card, and we can see that in this process we can match these bank statement transactions to expense receipts in the system. For this demonstration purposes, I need to adjust these settings slightly. You can save the default preferences in cash management preferences to avoid specifying the settings here. And I can match transactions manually here, review which line matches which expense receipt, or I can click auto match here, and based on the relevant settings, which I configured based on weights for specific parameters in this matching. The system can automatically guess which bank transaction matches which expense receipt. And of course, the accountant can review those matchings and make other decisions if necessary. So basically,